Hey there, YouTube. So this is just a bit of an update. So I did some more porting on the XL automatic. I don't know if you can tell, but I did raise the exhaust on there quite a bit. Opened up the transfers a little bit. It's more than it was because they were open a bit, but I widened them out a bit. I didn't raise them because I was watching channel Novice Lumberjack, and he good channel, watch it. But he brought up a good point where like, I don't know much about porting. I really. But the thing is, I'm going base gas leads, so raising the exhaust port gives you more blowdown, especially, and also moving. You raise that, and then no base gaskets. Your transfers are actually a little lower, and then also you create more pressure in the crankcase, which will increase the velocity of the charge going up through the transfers. But it works, in my mind, it would work better if you had wider transfers. Not higher, but just wider, just so you can get more flow up there. So we'll see what happens. Like, the saw ran good before, the saw runs good this weekend, because I want to get this back together so I can play with it this weekend. I'm not going to bore you with the complete reassembly, because there's lots of videos if you want to watch someone reassemble like a XL automatic, Super XL. Yeah, but now I'm going to get this guy back together, and then yeah, hopefully it'll run good this weekend. And I already loaded up tools, so I have to tune it or do adjustments. I can do that in the bush or on the tailgate of the truck if I even unhook. It's winter lasts a long time here in Alberta, and oh really, it's gonna be wet out in the bush. Dogs are gonna be messy. Bring lots of towels so you can make sure they stay clean when they come in the trailer. It'll be interesting, but I know a few gravelly spots where it shouldn't be too bad, but they're dogs, so they're gonna go off in the bush and find mud, because dogs can be assholes, and that's what they do. Anyway, so I'm gonna pause it for a bit, and then I might catch up with you later after I put a little more of this together. Okay, talk to you in a bit. So yeah, just getting a thin coat of motor seal on here. I actually really like this product. It almost goes on like a thick paint, as opposed to like RTV that's all gooey like silicone or caulking or whatever. Goes on very nicely. It doesn't make too much of a mess either, which I like. A lot of pros with this stuff. I'm sure Yava Bond and Honda Bond or whatever it is are good products as well, but I'm quite a fan of this Permatex motor seal. It definitely does the job. Okay, got a thin coat on there. Finger wipe. Get some oil. I'm using this demand dry fluid for assembly lube, because this is from when we had the Polaris Razor. Never used it, so sold it, and then actually because of the pandemic we sold it for quite a bit. So I'll pause you guys for a second here. Okay, I'm back. I just had to deal with some other stuff for a second there. Okay, so put this oil in here. Get this all looby. Some piston. Trap on there. I still actually own ring compressors. Some were supposed to come from AliExpress, but they still have not showed up. So struggle is real. Is on and installed. Now let's find some hardware. The lock washers. The lock washers are very important. I don't think you want to run one of these without lock washers on it, because that could be very, very, very bad, I guess. nice to not have such fat fingers. Whatever. Girls like fat fingers, so it's all good. Okay, I'm gonna pause you guys so you don't watch me struggle. Okay, I just decided to bore you guys to death with the reassembly of this guy. So I don't know how other people do it, but when I'm always putting these together, I'll always get them a little snug, and then kind of work for them like when you're torquing a tire where you go across from each other. And I've never had a problem doing that, so I shouldn't say that because this one did leak, but that's because of the RTV. I'm 99.9% sure it was leaking on the head gasket or the cylinder gasket. I'm going to use Motoseal in other spots on this, which I normally would do, just because I don't want to risk having to take this apart again. I'd like this to work nicely in the field this weekend. Okay, we've got that on. Use a fuel tank. Chainsaws like to have fuel. And one of those big guys. So I don't have Loctite, so what I normally do is take whatever sealant I have and put it on here, and you know what, really, I haven't had a problem doing that. I mean, I used up my Loctite. I usually don't buy it because I tend to lose it or it dries out. But I find using RTV or Motoseal or what have you, just something on threads to help lock it will just is enough. That's what I had on here before, just some RTV, and these are on really tight. They're kind of a pain in the ass to get off, actually. Kind of a nut driver for this. What's 3/8 nut driver. Makes life easier than the drivers. Just to torque those up a bit. These guys are a little strict, and they've on this saw they always have been. I'm sure someone's been into this at some point before. Not a big deal. Okay. Let's do throttle handle next. And again, I'm not going to use the. Yeah, I can use the gasket. Fuck it. Fuck it. Use the gasket. I'll use the gasket. I guess the gasket shouldn't go on yet. First time I took one of these apart, this oil line, I thought it was like the hardest thing. I mean, I think at the time it was like 18 years ago taking apart one of these, so still, I was in my early 20s, so I mean, it's kind of young and stupid, so I'm just old and stupid, so it's all good. But now, I mean, these things are pretty easy to work on. Like, no one should be intimidated about taking apart an XL 12 or a Super XL. The only thing that I truly avoid, and one thing I like more about McCulloch's and other saws, needle bearings. Fucking hate needle bearings. I will avoid dealing with needle bearings at all costs. Like if I have to change tamping rod, oh, that's part saw now. Fuck it. Like I don't have the patience. Fat fingers. Yeah, I just can't do that. Okay, fuel lines in. Probably didn't put that in yet. Stand this guy up. Gasket. Gasket door. On here. Slightly started, just so the gasket doesn't move. Maybe. Seems like it. Okay, that guy. Sorry, I can't see what I'm doing. I'll just put the throttle handle back on. I mean, it's not rocket science. I really need to get I have a DeWalt impact driver, like 1/4 inch one for driver bits at work, which I should really get one for at home. Just get 5/16 on it, because that would be really, really handy. A longer screwdriver here. Oh, that's a little longer, I guess. That'll do the job. These bottom bolts can be a little tricky. I mean, they're not horrible. If I had a longer screwdriver, it'd make this a little easier, but I'm still not swearing at this part, so it's not too bad. It must be nice to have well, I guess I could break that out, but nut driver, like the universal joints, that'd make this easier, but is it worth it? I'll probably just misplace it and just not know where it is. Put that guy on, put that guy on. Nice and torqued as it should be. I mean, tighten stuff too much, you're gonna just pop the threads out and like using not the most resilient material. But it's light. So before I go any further, just additional wipe of the airbox just to get any possible thread out there. So one place where I'm gonna use Moto Seal is right here, because I don't have these gaskets, and if it wasn't leaking out of the cylinder gasket, it was leaking right there. I'm sure of it. If that's the only other place it would have been leaking. Like I said, crank seals are new. We can't see that one. I'll take the clutch off today. But I'm just going to put a little bit of Moto Seal in there just to make sure everything's kosher. Sometimes it's a good idea just to cover your ass. So, like, if I had a brand new gasket for that, I would just use the gasket, but that I do not have. And just how easily this whole as easily as this popped out, I wouldn't be surprised if that was not the greatest seal, but like I said, I don't think that's where the air leak was coming from. Let's leave it up like this. Well, I guess you can't really see what I'm doing, but started. And I'll let that guy start. There we go. I feel it going now. That's good. Excellent. I'm gonna have to adjust the carb after this because it was actually running like before the air leak. It was I had tuned it dialed in really nicely, but I said air leak, so we shall see what happens. That guy not so much. I did have a 5/16 gear wrench around. I wish I knew where it was. I'm sure I'll find it one day if I do shit pile up. Anyone ever needs these blue coils? Because I really don't use them anymore. I got like a pile and I think I got like 10 of them. And they've all been through the oven and they all work now. If anyone ever needs one, shoot me an email or something because I would sell you one. I mean, you're in the States, shipping might be a little prohibitive, but whatever. I have been collecting them because like I said, I prefer, if it's a saw that I'm gonna run out in the bush, I prefer just throw a Husqvarna coil on because I've had these come to me from Ontario, like in saws where they don't work, but as far as saws I've got from here in Alberta, 'cause it's so dry here, I've never really had an issue with them, really, but the Husqvarna coils, I mean, you get them shipped to your door for $15 Canadian, I mean, why not? And I do custom metal fab, so it's nothing for me to zip up the bracket and just have at her. What's going on here? Fuel's kind of popped out here. I need you to go back in the tank. Back in the tank with you. You know, test start this guy tonight. Maybe. It's quite possible. Okay. Where's my little hook thing? These guys. It's probably not. Okay, this is the only frustrating part of this so far, so that's not too bad. Well, the worst part of the working on chainsaws today, trying to get the fuel line out. So I can pull it through. There we go. And it smells like gas now. Supposed to go. This fuel line might go a little long, but there we go. This fuel line gone. And these little hook needle nose, they're excellent to have around because they have a ton of uses working on chainsaws. One thing I dislike about Homelites, a lot of the older ones, just the barb for the fuel inlets, so big. I mean, I replaced some of these smaller ones because I have a whole bunch of new old stock ones, and these work on some saws. I don't like using one of these ones, but I mean, compared to like what's in here, like holy fuck, goodness, that's just a little bit of a rant. Okay, that's on. Maybe choke. Which I think is that guy. Cotter pin. Or a head. It's not a cotter pin, but it works. I really need separate glasses. This particular cotter pin is actually a 25 thousandths stainless MIG wire. We have it at work, so I took a hunk just for replacing these because I can't find little brass ones or bronze ones at or OEM for Homelites. Okay, everything in your box is together. Let's work on ignition. Felt, always put the felt in there. That's important. Should be this guy right here. Feed this guy through. High performance. Shit. Oh, something had to go wrong. Is that one still missing one? That's okay. I got more. I do have more. So I broke that, dude. Put that off first. Finally get the kill switch wire. Or make one, I guess. But I'm sure I've got more around somewhere. Just twist these guys in. They just twist in. Always start the back one first. Don't think it really matters. If I put these together, I always hope that I can see exactly where this went on, because it can be indexed a little bit wrong, and then it really just won't work that well. Exactly where it was before, so that's a good thing, because if that doesn't go on exactly where, like I said, you can have spark issues. I'm not saying you will, but you can. This guy should have fuck off my pile. Like a dozen ignitions for these sitting over there. Too many parts. If anyone needs parts and you're in Canada, let me know, because if you're in the Edmonton area, come by, I'm gonna hook you up. I'm not big on shipping. I will ship, but I mean I'm slow to ship, so very slow. One thing, because I hate going to the post office, because here in Edmonton, most post offices are in a drugstore, Shoppers Drug Mart, and the one near my house is especially bad, especially if milk's on sale. And every time I go in that parking lot, I fear for my life, because it's like you've got 24 people driving around looking for the closest parking spot. And just, it's horrible. I'm just gonna say it's horrible. I avoid going to the post office like the plague, but sometimes it's necessary. Like I got that giveaway happening, so that's gonna have to go. I might actually box that up next week, because I'm at 73 subscribers now. 73 subscribers, so I need 27 more, and then I gotta get that saw away, and that's gonna be done by probably gonna ask a question about a previous video, and the first person to comment what the answer is, they will be the winner. And hopefully it's a subscriber, because that'd be bad if they weren't. But we shall see. Sorry, this is kind of a long video here, but it is what it is. I really don't have much else going on tonight, so. I don't like where I don't take the sawdust screen off these things. I have to. Yeah, okay, good. Both of them came out. Okay, here's the keyway. There's the keyway. here. Okay, crisis averted. The little keyway actually slipped out of the groove. Which I actually do have more of those. Like, that was about, I want to say 2005-ish. I bought a lot of parts from a guy in Labrador, which is part of Newfoundland, I guess. And there's a lot of goodies in there, like pistons for the Super XLs were in there. Some other goodies too. There we go. There's the lock washer right there. Good old Maggie grabbed it. Lock washer in there. Never put one of these together without the lock washer. Just, it's not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Okay. Just pulls out of the way. I'm gonna pause you guys while I look for a 1/2-inch socket here. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just kind of all over the place. One day it was nice outside, so I was doing a lot of stuff outside. I have a bad habit of taking tools into the shed and forgetting about them there. Bingo bongo, that's done. Get this guy back on before I forget. Get high and zero. And see if I can find a kill switch wire, which I should have somewhere. Find the kill switch wire, because I prefer not to make one, so I'm going to pause you guys yet again while I look for a kill switch. Okay, I found a kill switch wire, so that crisis averted. I'm going to check for spark to make sure that everything's the way it should be here, because Jesus Christ, why is that on there so tight? It's not one thing, it's another today. Okay, let's remove that first. It's going to be very dull. I should actually make some new kill switch wires, because pull some rope. There we go. Bongo. Screws back in. One thing you guys missed while I had the camera off is I grabbed the starter cover and all the bolts went flying. So I'm short one, but it's not a big deal except whatever, but it's just the kind of day it's been. I'm sure we all had them. That didn't work. Let's see if we got spark. I hope we do, because otherwise I'll have to take all this crap back off, which I really don't want to do. sorry for how long this video is. No one's going to watch it because it's probably so long, but I'll probably put a warning in the title saying XL automatic reassembly. Caution, very boring and long-winded. Okay. Okay, let's for some good old fashioned spark. I know you guys won't be able to see this. A good spark. That's what I like to see. It's just put wires. It's so goddamn long though. I could cut it, but I don't want to. Seems like way too much work for a Thursday. So it's got a slit in the hole. Don't forget to hook this oil line back up. Otherwise, manual oiler run for. I actually love the fact that these have a manual oiler too. I'm a big fan of manual oilers. It's kind of like redundancy. You know, all kinds of things can happen to fuck up an automatic oiler. I should say on these aren't too bad. I've never had a problem with one of these, but I mean, there's some other saws. Well, like those little XL, little Homelite top handle XLs and Super 2s. They often have oiling issues. I mean, it's not a big deal to fix them, but let's see if I can get that on straight this time. Think that's straight. Looks straight. So we'll find out in a second. Yeah, feels straight. Yeah, when you're taking these apart, try not to bend these oil lines too much because you will have problems. Just make sure that's good working and that's fuel oil. Oh no. I don't think that's on there right. No, it's definitely not on there right. It should be though. One of those things. I'll pause you guys again. So yeah, things went absolutely sideways connecting this oil line with. I actually managed to break the check valve. Like now part of it's stuck inside this oil line. So yeah, that's something I do with sideways on here. So yeah, I have to get that out somehow. Not today, because fortunately I have another oil supply line. The manual oiler. I actually don't need the manual oiler, but let's see if I got another check valve. So, I don't know if I want to use the aluminum one. That is the correct way for that, though. Let's see if I've used one, which I showed the Christmas right there. There we go. Yeah, some waste. So I got one brand new old stock. One like that. I got a lot of the elbow ones and shit, but save that guy. Okay. What a fucking mess. So I'm gonna pause you guys again here. I'll let you know when I get stuff working if I do. Or maybe I'll just go upstairs and have a drink. Who knows? Yeah, so that was unnecessary difficulty there. What a stupid thing to happen. But no, it's working now. That was a dumb thing that could happen. But hey, what happens when you're working on saws? Double check spark. It's really all wires. Stuff's back in there. Double, triple check for spark. I'll do a compression check too, because I mean there are new rings, and I mean there's only about one tank through this, guys. That is a bit of an issue. Still got spark. Spark's still good. Sparky, spark. in the home stretch at least, so I can stop boring you guys. Alright, clusterfuck. Just had a well line. That's. I'll have to go up to have a beer after this. Go upstairs, have a beer. Let's see if we can pull that wire through the other side. Okay, so I got the compression tester, and we're going to do a quick compression test. There's a bit of assembly lube in here, but pistons also, rings still aren't completely broken in, so yeah, I think it's a fair cop. I think these things are supposed to be between 120 and 150, so. Okay, that's 6 poles. So we're running about 160 psi, so that's not too bad. That's pretty good for what it is. Okay, so compression's good, spark is good, oil is good. We might just have a runner here. Well, I know we'll have a runner. Ran before, we'll run again, and I got all my big bars outside, so I might just bar it up with something. I got 20. I might just buy 16-inch sprocket nose on for now. 20 would be better, but I don't have anything in the house. Okay, muffler time. Ding, 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 ding. I think I got the original muffler back on. For some reason, last time I just put a. And I'm just going with the other one, small muffler. Really don't know if there's any advantages with that bigger box muffler. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it. I mean, XL76s have little mufflers like this, and they seem to do fine. The oil line's pissing me off. See what I just did with the screwdriver? Never do that to these oil lines, because they're so close to the muffler. They're copper, and copper work hardens really easily. This isn't technically work hardening, but just the constant heat and cool cycles will cause it to have problems. No, that's what I thought. And that's why you gotta be very gentle with those copper lines, because they can break easily. Like, just if you bend them, try to be very broad with the bend. Don't try to bend them sharply, because they will just snap. Because I've got a few around here that I've snapped. And if you have buckets of old parts like I do, it's not a big deal, because you can find one. But if you're looking for a new one, I mean, if you go to Leon's Chainsaw Parts Repair, he's got a few new ones, but just try not to break them. It's just better if you don't. I guess one good advantage is like the Super XL was made into the 90s, so probably quite a few on eBay, but eBay's getting so expensive, it's kind of ridiculous. Getting kind of ridiculous. I'm actually trying to sell something on eBay for the first time, a McCulloch 110 and a Homelite XL76, but see what happens. Maybe nothing will happen. Okay. That's done, that's done, that's done. We got muffler, we got spark, we got fuel. Throw an air filter. That guy on. In the home stretch. And yeah, I think we'll bar this guy up tonight, because tomorrow we're going to get home and then load up the truck, load up the trailer. Well, trailer's pretty much loaded up, but more or less anyways. Now this thing did have a clutch cover at one time. somewhere there's a clutch cover for this thing. 76, that's a VI 120. Okay. Clutch cover. What did I do with the clutch cover last night? I wasn't even drinking last night. Should be right in front of me. Some McCulloch. I'll again pause you. I'll get this back together and then bring you guys back. Yeah, of course, it's right in front of my fucking face. Okay. That can go on there like that. Now, what do we got for a bar? Okay, now put this guy on. Ooh, it's kind of gross. What else do we got? A couple of hard-nosed bars. Yeah, put that. Yeah, that one's good. Still kind of see Homelite on that one. Kind of, sort of, maybe. But this is what's going to live on here for this weekend. I'll obviously sharpen this one at some point too, which is good. Chain on the right way, that's always a good thing too. This chain's got a lot of life left in it, surprisingly. This bar and chain actually came with this really clean XL12 I got here. This thing's in, I think this thing's fairly low hours. It's a pretty clean saw. It's a 1978 model, telling by the serial number. But it has a broken air cleaner cover. I have a magnesium one that I painted black that I will be putting on that saw eventually. But in the meantime, not going to worry about it. I never actually ran that one. I bought it from the guy who said it ran. I know it had a spark. I put a carb kit in it just for the hell of it, but fuel lines were all replaced. I know it will run. Gods of it not running are slimmer than ever if it actually running. That guy on. Okay, I'll let you guys go now. This is a long-winded video, and if you've made it to the end, congrats, because that's kind of crazy. But everyone have a good night. I might go outside and try and start. This is getting kind of late. Don't want to piss off the neighbors. But if not, I'll have a video of this running on the weekend. Okay, talk to you later.